being back in the day, and not when I know your nigga be in them hallways.
The first time we saw this video, it simply looked like Birdman was high and feeling sleepy on stage. However, a closer look revealed something even darker. From public kisses that shocked the world to alleged participation in satanic ritual orgies, Birdman's controversies span decades. Let's show you the parts he doesn't want you to see. The kiss that shocked the world. Let's start with the image that launched 1,000 conspiracy theories, the infamous photograph from the 2006 BET Awards after party that shows a 14-year-old Lil Wayne kissing the much older Birdman, who was 37 at the time, directly on the lips. The photo captured them mid-embrace, and when it hit the internet, the hip-hop community collectively lost its mind. Now, you might be thinking, okay, maybe it was just an awkward photo, a moment taken out of context. But here's where it gets even more complicated. This wasn't a one-time thing. The kiss repeated itself on national television during BET's 106 & Park in 2009, where Wayne, seemingly comfortable with the whole situation, joked that he was the only one Birdman kisses. The casual nature of it, the public display, the lack of hesitation, it all raised eyebrows and questions. Conspiracy theorists immediately labeled it a homosexual initiation ritual for industry loyalty, drawing parallels to voodoo bonding ceremonies, but twisting them into something far more sinister, satanic humiliation designed to break the spirit of young artists, to make them compliant, to ensure their absolute loyalty to their master, in this case, Birdman himself. But Birdman had an explanation. In a 2015 interview, he addressed the controversy head-on, explaining it as paternal affection. "I looked at Wayne as my son. I thought this might be the last time they see me." However, his explanation didn't do much to repair his reputation. This was due to the dangers of his street life. It was his way of showing love to someone he considered family, he claimed, a father figure expressing affection for his protege. But was it really that simple? Or was there something darker lurking beneath the surface, a pattern of inappropriate behavior that would only become clearer as more allegations emerged? The kiss became a symbol, a talking point, and for many, the first red flag in what would become a disturbing pattern of allegations against the cash money mogul. And this isn't unique to Birdman. Similar theories have plagued other hip-hop moguls. Jay-Z kissing Nas on the cheek at a 2005 concert was spun by conspiracy theorists as a satanic reconciliation pact within Illuminati circles, while Kanye West's public displays of affection with Kim Kardashian at concerts were bizarrely linked to occult fertility rites by the same crowd. The pattern suggests that any public display of non-traditional affection in hip-hop becomes fodder for these dark narratives. The unthinkable claim. Now we venture into territory that's even more disturbing, even more difficult to discuss. During the explosive 2015 feud between Birdman and Lil Wayne, rumors exploded across the internet with an allegation so shocking that it's hard to even put into words, that Birdman allegedly sexually initiated Wayne when Wayne was just 11 years old, shortly after signing him to Cash Money Records in 1991, when Wayne was only 9. The basis for this claim stems from Wayne's 2008 interview with GQ magazine, where he made comments that some interpreted as suggesting that Birdman took advantage of him when he was young. Additionally, lyrics from Wayne's music, particularly in songs like No Ceilings, seem to allude to grooming, to manipulation, to something inappropriate happening during his formative years under Birdman's mentorship. Conspiracy theorists, always ready to connect dots that may or may not be there, frame this as a satanic rite of passage, a demonic contract sealed not with signatures, but with innocence, a blood pact that would ensure Wayne's eventual rise to superstardom at the cost of his childhood. They drew connections to voodoo practices that allegedly involve personal sacrifices for power, twisting spiritual traditions into nightmarish narratives of exploitation. Wayne, for his part, later attempted to clarify his comments, characterizing his relationship with Birdman as non-sexual mentorship, the natural bond between a young artist and his benefactor, his teacher, his guide in the treacherous world of the music industry. But the damage was done. The allegations had been voiced, the questions raised, and they would continue to haunt both men. The allegation resurfaced with even more intensity in 2024, amid parallels being drawn to the Diddy scandals that were dominating headlines. When Diddy's ex-bodyguard Gene Deal alleged that Diddy forced a 15-year-old into sexual acts as an initiation in his 2024 testimony, claims he tied to satanic blackmail, people began drawing parallels to the Birdman allegations, wondering if this was a pattern throughout the industry, a dark underbelly that extends far beyond any single individual. The party incident. If the previous allegation wasn't disturbing enough, this one takes things to an even darker place. According to anonymous sources cited in 2015 Complex reports during the Cash Money lawsuit, Birdman allegedly orchestrated an incident at a party when Wayne was just 8 years old, before he was even officially signed to the label. The claim that Birdman instructed a woman to perform oral sex on the child. The allegation, if true, represents not just abuse, but premeditated exploitation, what conspiracy theorists call a humiliation ritual designed to desensitize child artists to future exploitation, to break down their boundaries, to make them compliant to whatever demands the industry or their handlers might make of them in the future. It's a tactic that, if you believe these theories, is allegedly used in elite pedophile networks to control and manipulate young talent. Wayne alluded to early trauma in his 2018 album Thaw Carter 5, with lyrics like, "I was a seed, you was a tree," which many interpreted as references to inappropriate power dynamics and exploitation during his childhood. But Wayne has consistently denied specifics, never confirming these particular allegations outright, leaving the truth somewhere in the murky space between accusation and silence. Conspiracy theorists, naturally, have their own interpretation. They link these alleged acts to New Orleans voodoo binding spells that supposedly use bodily fluids to create spiritual and psychological bonds, to tie a person's fate to another's will, ensuring loyalty that transcends mere contracts or business arrangements. This allegation finds disturbing parallels in recent industry scandals. Kanye West claimed in 2022 tweets that record executives forced him into satanic sex rituals as a teenager in exchange for record deals. Diddy's 2024 indictment details minors allegedly coerced into sexual acts at parties, acts that victims like Cassie Ventura described in legal filings as demonic initiations. The pattern, if you believe these accounts, suggests something systemic rather than isolated incidents. The satanic ritual orgies. In September 2024, the internet exploded when a podcast hosted by Stevie Knight featured an interview with Allison Carter, a self-described trafficking survivor. What she alleged in that interview sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community and beyond. Carter claimed that Birdman participated in what she explicitly called Diddy's satanic ritual orgies, the infamous freak-offs that allegedly took place from 2008 to 2024. But according to Carter, these weren't just drug-fueled sex parties. She described scenes straight out of a horror movie, chanting, bloodletting, animal sacrifices, and invocations designed to bind souls through humiliation and degradation. She named names, not just Birdman, but also Denzel Washington and Young Jock as attendees at these gatherings. Most disturbingly, she alleged that minors were coerced into these events, treated as what she called party favors, placed on tables for the pleasure and purposes of powerful men. The full interview, which runs over an hour, contains graphic details that are difficult to listen to. Carter describes rituals designed not just for pleasure, but for power. Ceremonies intended to create blackmail material, to bind participants together in complicity, to ensure silence through shared guilt. If her allegations are true, these weren't just crimes. They were systematic exploitation wrapped in occult dressing. Birdman, for his part, has denied any close ties to Diddy in 2024, citing personal differences that led to their professional distance. But the timing of this distancing, coming right as the Diddy allegations were heating up, raised eyebrows among conspiracy theorists who saw it as a strategic retreat rather than genuine separation. The parallel allegations against other industry figures are striking. Suge Knight, in a 2024 prison interview, alleged that Diddy hosted what he called satanic exorcisms with preachers present. Gene Deal's testimony about bird sacrifices added another layer of bizarre ritualistic behavior. Even leaked photos from parties in the 2010s showed attendees in hooded robes with inverted crosses visible in the background, lending visual evidence to the claims of occult activity. The voodoo priest theory. Birdman's roots in New Orleans add another dimension to these allegations. The city is famous for its voodoo traditions, a syncretic spiritual practice that blends West African religions with Catholic influences. But conspiracy theorists have taken this cultural connection and twisted it into something darker, speculating that Birdman isn't just from New Orleans. He's allegedly a high-level voodoo practitioner, using rituals for Cash Money's unprecedented success. According to social media posts in 2023 and a 2019 Vice piece on New Orleans Orleans occultism, rumors claim that Birdman uses grisgris bags, charms containing herbs, personal items, and allegedly blood for protection and to ensure the success of his business ventures. More sinisterly, some claim he's performed curses on rivals, pointing to his legal battles with former Cash Money producer Manny Fresh during the 2005 lawsuits as evidence of occult warfare behind the scenes. It's important to understand what's being misrepresented here. Authentic Louisiana voodoo is not inherently satanic. It's a spiritual practice focused on ancestor veneration, healing, and protection. But in the hands of conspiracy theorists, every cultural practice becomes evidence of devil worship. Every traditional spiritual element gets reframed as proof of satanic allegiance. Conspiracy videos on YouTube dissect every aspect of Birdman's New Orleans connections, looking for evidence of occult practice in everything from his business decisions to his personal relationships. They point to Cash Money's dominance in the late 1990s and early 2000s as somehow supernatural, as if success in the music industry couldn't possibly be achieved through talent, business acumen, and ruthless determination alone. Other artists have faced similar voodoo-related conspiracy theories. Lil Wayne himself referenced voodoo altars in his 2008 song 3-Pete, which conspiracists interpreted as evidence of devil deals. Travis Scott's Astroworld stage design in 2021, which featured imagery that some claimed resembled voodoo dolls, was called a satanic summoning after the tragic deaths at the concert, as if stage design could literally open portals to demonic realms. The bisexual confession. In 2021, during an appearance on the Big Facts podcast, Birdman addressed the persistent rumors about his relationship with Lil Wayne in a way that only added fuel to the conspiracy fire. When pressed about the kissing incidents and the gay rumors that had followed him for years, Birdman responded with a statement that shocked listeners. He admitted to "fucking with Ngaz too." Now, on the surface, this could be interpreted as Birdman simply being open about his sexuality, about not conforming to hip-hop's traditionally hypermasculine norms, but conspiracy theorists heard something entirely different. They interpreted this as a confession of participating in what they call bisexual rituals or satanic power exchanges within elite circles, the idea being that sexual fluidity among the industry's power players is not about identity or preference, but about occult transactions of energy and control. The statement was tied back to the 2009 Kiss backlash and was seen by many as deflection from the more serious abuse claims rather than genuine transparency. Instead of addressing the allegations of inappropriate behavior with a minor, Birdman's statement was interpreted as an attempt to reframe the narrative, to make it about his own sexual identity rather than potential exploitation. This isn't unique to Birdman in conspiracy theory circles. Diddy has joked about fucking with everybody in 2014 interviews, statements that were later spun as him admitting to demonic bisexuality when his 2024 legal troubles emerged. Kanye West rapped about gay spirits in his 2016 song Famous, which conspiracy theorists connected to occult theories about gender-bending rituals supposedly used in secret societies to transcend traditional human limitations and achieve higher states of power. The pattern suggests that in conspiracy theory logic, any admission or even hint of sexual fluidity among powerful men in hip-hop becomes reframed as evidence of occult practice rather than simply human sexuality in all its complexity and variety. The blood oath contracts. Moving into more tangible territory, 2015 court documents from Lil Wayne's $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money allegedly referenced blood pacts that Birdman supposedly enforced among Cash Money artists. These weren't metaphorical agreements. The claims suggest actual blood oaths, gang-inspired vows sealed with cuts for loyalty, rituals that conspiracy theorists have rebranded as satanic contracts akin to Faustian bargains. The connection to gang culture is undeniable. Birdman has publicly acknowledged his affiliation with the Bloods gang, particularly after Hurricane Katrina in 2005. This manifests in various ways, from the systematic replacement of the letter C with B in written communications, a Bloods practice to disrespect their Crip rivals, to the red symbolism prevalent throughout Cash Money's branding. But were these simply gang affiliations, or something darker, occult rituals disguised as street loyalty tests? The theory goes that these blood oaths served multiple purposes. They created blackmail material material, they psychologically bound artists to the label through shared transgression, and they invoked spiritual forces that would ensure both the label's success and the artist's inability to break free without supernatural consequences. In this narrative, leaving Cash Money wasn't just a matter of contract disputes. It meant breaking a blood oath, inviting curses, and facing otherworldly retribution. Whack 100, in a YouTube interview, discussed the prevalence of blood oaths in rap, suggesting this wasn't unique to Cash Money, but rather a practice that extends throughout hip-hop, a hidden ritual that binds the industry together in ways that contracts and handshakes never could. Similar allegations plague other hip-hop moguls. Jay-Z's lyrics in Devils, from his 1996 album Reasonable Doubt reference Blood on the Contract, which Illuminati conspiracy theorists interpret as literal rather than metaphorical. Young Thug's YSL Collective, a blood subset, faced accusations in their 2022 RICO case of using blood rituals not just for gang initiation but for occult purposes, binding members together in ways that transcended mere criminal enterprise. The Boozie accusations. Few voices in hip-hop are as unfiltered as Boozie Badazz, and in 2022, he turned his controversial commentary directly toward Birdman. In X, formerly Twitter rants and various interviews, Boozie explicitly called Birdman's mentorship of Lil Wayne gay satanic rituals designed to gain access to what he called white power, the upper echelons of industry control dominated by corporate interests. Boozie's theory, elaborated in podcasts and social media posts, suggests that the kisses, the close physical relationship, the feuds that eventually erupted, all of it was evidence of occult humiliation tactics used to control artists, to break their spirit, to make them malleable to the demands of forces far beyond the recording studio. In Boozie's view, this wasn't just about individual predation, it was systemic, a gateway requirement for reaching the highest levels of success in hip-hop. This echoes concerns from the 1980s Satanic Panic, when moral crusaders saw satanic ritual abuse in daycare centers, rock music, and Dungeons and Dragons. The difference now is that the accusations come not from conservative religious groups, but from within the hip-hop community itself, from artists who claim to have witnessed or experienced the industry's dark underbelly firsthand. Boozie's accusations represent a larger trend of artists speaking out about industry practices they find disturbing. Eminem accused Diddy of faggot rituals in his 2018 album Kamikaze, using homophobic language to describe what he suggested were exploitative industry practices. Lil Nas X's 2021 Satan shoes, Nike sneakers containing a drop of human blood and limited to 666 pairs, were mocked by critics as gay devil worship, though Lil Nas X positioned them as artistic commentary on religious hypocrisy and LGBTQ+ acceptance. The occult symbolism. For conspiracy theorists, Birdman's body is a canvas of alleged occult symbolism. The most prominent example, the 5 red stars tattooed on his head in 2007. Officially, these represent 5-Star G, a reference to his gang affiliation and status. But conspiracy theorists see pentagrams, 5-pointed stars historically associated with Satanism, occultism, and ritualistic magic. His wrist tattoo, a $sign with the word baby underneath, surrounded by what appears to be flames, is interpreted as hellfire imagery, a visual representation of wealth gained through demonic bargains. Most telling to conspiracy theorists is the tattoo of Lil Wayne's face on Birdman's chest, added in 2012, which they interpret as a binding idol, a physical mark of spiritual and psychological possession, ensuring Wayne could never truly escape Birdman's influence no matter how far he ran. Even dates become suspicious in this framework. Wayne's birth date, September 27, 1982, is sometimes referenced in Cash Money symbolism, which conspiracists call covenant marks, permanent reminders of the day a soul was pledged to darkness. Every tattoo, every symbol, every piece of jewelry becomes evidence in an ever-expanding conspiracy theory that sees satanic ritual in every aspect of Birdman's public persona. Other artists face similar symbolic scrutiny. Jay-Z's 444 tattoo on his forehead in 2017 was interpreted by some as a biblical devil code. Kanye West's swastika sketches in 2022 were tied to theories about Nazi occultism and its alleged connections to satanic practices. Diddy's love tattoo, with horn-like designs visible in certain photos, was seen as demonic self-identification. The human tendency to see patterns, to find meaning in symbols, combines with genuine distrust of power structures to create conspiracy theories that transform every artistic choice into evidence of spiritual corruption. The strategic distancing. Finally, we come to Birdman's recent behavior. Regarding Diddy, a case study in how timing can appear incriminating even when innocence might exist. In August 2024 interviews at Essence Fest, Birdman publicly stated that his relationship with Diddy had ended due to personal differences following their 2010s collaborations. The timing couldn't be more suspicious to conspiracy theorists. Just as Diddy's legal troubles were exploding, just as allegations of freak-offs and ritual abuse were dominating headlines, just as photos from parties with hooded figures and inverted crosses were leaking online, suddenly Birdman wanted everyone to know they weren't close anymore, that whatever Diddy was involved in, Birdman had no part of it. Conspiracy theorists call it a satanic fallout, a strategic distancing to avoid being caught up in shared indictments, to prevent investigators from following the threads that might connect one mogul's alleged ritual practices to another's. The question becomes, is this genuine separation or calculated self-preservation? Is Birdman distancing himself because he knows something, or simply because he wants to avoid guilt by association in the court of public opinion? This pattern extends beyond Birdman. Jay-Z cut professional ties with Diddy in 2023 amid the emerging lawsuits, leading to rumors that he was escaping joint rituals before they could be exposed. Kanye West famously distanced himself from Jay-Z in 2016, explicitly citing satanic blood sacrifices in his rants, statements dismissed as products of mental health struggles, but seized upon by conspiracy theorists as rare moments of truth-telling from an insider willing to break the code of silence. So where does all this leave us? We've explored 10 allegations against Birdman, ranging from inappropriate relationships with minors to participation in alleged satanic rituals, from voodoo practices to strategic business maneuvers designed to distance himself from scandal. These narratives thrive on platforms like X and YouTube, amplified by victim testimonies, cultural misunderstandings, and genuine concerns about power dynamics in the music industry. But here's what we know for certain. Birdman has never been convicted of any occult involvement. The voodoo practices of New Orleans, while real, are not inherently satanic despite how they're portrayed in these theories. Many of these allegations stem from conspiracy forums, social media amplification, and the human tendency to see sinister patterns in the behavior of powerful people we don't fully understand. That said, some of the claims, particularly those involving inappropriate conduct with minors, deserve serious investigation, regardless of whether they involve literal satanic rituals or not. The exploitation of young artists, the power imbalances in the music industry, the potential for abuse hidden behind contracts and mentorship relationships. These are real concerns that exist whether or not pentagrams and blood sacrifices are involved. As researchers have noted when examining the satanic panic of previous decades, the ritualistic framing often obscures real issues of abuse and exploitation, making it easier to dismiss legitimate concerns as conspiracy theories. We must be careful not to let the sensational aspects of these allegations prevent us from examining the very real questions about power, consent, and exploitation in the entertainment industry. The truth, as always, likely lies somewhere in the complex space between denial and the most extreme allegations. What is clear is that these stories persist, that victims continue coming forward, and that the hip-hop community continues grappling with questions about what price is really paid for fame, success, and power in an industry that has always operated in the shadows as much as in the spotlight. Thank you for reading. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who need to know these stories. Remember to think critically, demand evidence, but also listen to those brave enough to speak out. Until next time, stay informed and stay questioning. Thanks for watching. Check out other cards on the screen.